There are many differences between Chanukah and Purim, but because I'm Jewish, I'd like to focus on the food. And I don't just mean latkes and hamantashen. I mean that as part of Purim, there's an obligation to have a Suda, a festive banquet. Quite apart from the question of whether we should drink or not drink, let's leave that on the side for now. But on Chanukah, there's no such obligation. Of course, there is a long-standing custom to have meals and parties on Chanukah, and that's codified in the halachic works as a good thing, especially if there's singing and praise of Hashem involved. But the question is, why wasn't it made mandatory? The Levush has an interesting take on this. He says that on Purim, Haman and co. were trying to destroy us physically. It wasn't a battle against our religion per se, but against our very existence. So it makes sense to celebrate the survival of our bodies with a banquet nourishing our bodies. But Chanukah, says the Levush, was a battle against Judaism as a spiritual system. The Greeks weren't interested in genocide of the Jews. They just wanted us to submit to their philosophy. You Jews aren't special. So our official commemoration then is to light the menorah, not just to remember the miracle of the oil lasting for 8 days, but also the victory of the light of Judaism over the darkness of Greece. This darkness is alluded to in the very beginning of the Torah. V'choshech al pnei sehom. The Medrash tells us that with all their anti-Jewish decrees, the Greeks darkened the eyes of the Jews, and they made them write on the horn of an ox that they had no portion in the God of Israel. What's the meaning of this portion in the God of Israel? Well, one understanding is that a Jew, every Jew, no matter how far away from observance he may seem, has a special portion. That's his connection to Hashem. It's a flame that flickers, sometimes deeply buried, but there nonetheless, hiding out in the basement of his soul. A few years ago, a rabbi here in Israel had a student who was slowly becoming more connected and started coming to shul on Shabbos. But he would leave after the Torah reading to go to work. And when confronted, he just said, "I'm sorry, Rabbi, but I just can't lose my job." So the rabbi, because he was a good rabbi, went to this man's boss, a completely secular Jew. Long story short, the boss agreed to allow the man to take Saturdays off. But he said, "Rabbi, I'm not a religious man, but I don't think that he should do this. If he takes off Shabbat, then I'll be hiring another Jew to work on Shabbat in his place." Now my father, who was in Auschwitz, told me that there, if a Jew could save his own life at the cost of another Jew being killed, he wouldn't do it. So this man shouldn't keep Shabbat either, at the cost of making someone else break Shabbat. Impressed, the rabbi took this question to Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Reb Chaim said, "It's true, you can't evade a negative thing by passing it on to another Jew." And he told him the source for this, it's a Mari Bar Lev, really talking about taxation. But he said, this case is different. You see, in the camps, the Jews had no choice over being killed. But here, every person has free will, and he doesn't have to take the job on Shabbos. Also, said Reb Chaim, whoever does take this job would probably have been breaking Shabbos anyway. So let him at least get the schus, the benefit of helping another Jew to keep Shabbos. Go tell the boss that his father was correct, and also tell him everything else that we discussed. So the rabbi went and told the employer everything that Reb Chaim had said. He was astounded. "You people are living in a different world," he said. "One Jew is going to go to work and Reb Chaim's worried about the schus of the other one for his keeping Shabbos. I'm closing my business on Shabbos. I want the schus. I want the merit of all my workers not working on Shabbos." And he closed his business. How is such a thing possible? Where does it come from? The answer is that in him the flame of Chanukah burns still. The Greeks failed then, the Greeks of today fail, and the Greeks of the future will fail too.